So is fall the best time to create change in your life? Well, what I'm talking about today is what's called October theory. And I was turned on to this from these emails that I get from Nice News. It's the only news network that I subscribe to at the moment that I get emails about. And it's all about positive things. Like I just shared something on Twitter about this kid who created this AI technology device that's basically just a gun that you point at your fruit or your food, and it can tell you that if if it has pesticides on it or not, so if it's organic or not, or if it's clean. It's really cool. So they give cool stories out and stuff like that, but it's positive. It's called Nice News, right? And so I mean, you could call the regular news the bad news because it's just terrible shit that happens all the time. But anyways, with this October theory, it's talking about, do you naturally start changing during the fall? Because it's like with the seasons, it's metaphorical, right? You have the trees shedding their leaves, things are turning colors, everything is changing. Obviously there's springtime where things are blooming and things are coming about, but they've just talked about how it's actually a really good time to make change, and then it also sets you up for success around the first of the year because you already have a foundation, so that when you're talking about your New Year's resolutions, you're in a better state versus just trying to make a change in one day. And I think I've made videos about that in the past, about how, and I'll probably make one this year about how just changing the date of something doesn't really mean anything. You have to have reasons why, and it has to be kind of in flow with your life. But what I wanted to comment about is I find myself going through patterns, and October is one of those times that I do find myself changing, if not thinking about change, actually making change. And I was thinking about getting into relationships where it's a complete life change of going from single to being in a relationship, where I've found I think, I met someone on a Halloween one time, or I rekindled a relationship with someone on Halloween, and then we started dating like the next week after that. Another was October 13th is when we started seeing each other, or when we had our first kiss or something like that. And these were long-term relationships, two of the longest term relationships. One was like 5 years, one was like 2 years. So like moments in this October fall change where it completely changed the trajectory of my life. So I just wanted to comment on that. And as of right now, I'm going through a big change in my life. I'm shedding some things out of my life, and that happened a couple months ago. But this is that fall time. The seasons are changing, and it's so indicative of my life. So that's why I wanted to comment on that. And I wanted to ask if you've seen this pattern in your life as well, where again, we go from summertime, things are, out and wild, and you're partying maybe, or you're doing more things out with other people. And then as the weather starts changing, maybe you're inside more, maybe it's a little bit cooler, maybe the sun doesn't stay out as long, and you start having more self-reflection. You start thinking about maybe making some changes in your life, making some dietary changes, or making some financial changes, or making some relational changes, or whatever it might be. But have you noticed that in your life? Because again, I guess this is somewhat trending right now, where this October theory is getting people to see like, oh, this is actually a really good time to do it, but it's also a natural time to do it. So for me, I've found, again, just giving some examples, and I'm going through it at the moment. I just saw this article the other day, and I was like, wow, that makes sense for me in my life, but does it make sense for you? But I've noticed that October, November is time when I start to make changes, and then really follow through with those, or at least think about them, start to think and like really maybe want something better for myself. A lot of times holidays get in the excuse for people, right? They want to make a change, they're like, well, I'll wait till after the holidays. I would say anytime you want to make a change and you feel that urge to do something, start immediately. All right, grab it by the horns and go for a ride, because if you lose that momentum, that steam, it's gonna fizzle out, and you're not going to have that energy to do it, and you might get pulled back into an old pattern that quickly. And so if you have a better standard for yourself, and you use some of the holiday things as just little escapes so that it's not this, complete change all in one day. You can say, okay, well, I'm gonna be good for 3 weeks, and then I'm gonna have Thanksgiving, and I'm gonna eat there, but then I'm gonna go right back on, and you have a plan for it. Versus, I'm not even gonna try. I'm just gonna let myself go. Imagine how much harder that's gonna be when you then actually decide to make that change. You might never do it. I see that from a lot of people. Oh, I'll sign up at this time. Oh, I'll start changing at this time, and it never comes. So I would say, if you're feeling that urge, if you've got the October theory bug in you where you're looking for change, start right now. Start right now, and then see where it takes you, but have a plan for those challenges that might come up during the holiday season, because it might be stress that comes up because you're hosting the holiday season, or you have some big plans that you need to do. You're taking a big vacation. But if you plan ahead of time, right? What's the old adage? Prepare to fail, or fail to prepare, or prepare to fail. That's basically the old adage. So if you're not preparing, you're probably gonna fail, right? So prep for this new life and prep for the changes that you want. But this time, as the seasons are changing and as the leaves are falling, maybe that's time for you to shed some of your leaves, shed some of the bark that's been, clutching to you, that you want to be free of. And then by springtime, you've had this new growth, and like the flowers blooming, you're blooming as well. That's what I plan on doing. I really have big plans for myself, and it's going along exactly with the seasons. Going along exactly with the season. I think it was just so fascinating that I read that article, because I was like, wow, this explains me to a T. Now, if I can then make sure that I don't fall again, so I'll rise with the fall and change with the fall, but I don't then going back into my old patterns. So what's that say about maybe summertime, or around that springtime where you have the blossoming, and then you're like, hey, you're celebrating, you're all good. Like, I don't need to do anything. I don't need to stick with the stuff that I was thinking about in October. And then all of a sudden it's July, it's August, and you're going, what the heck happened? So prepping, again, fail to prepare or prepare to fail. If you have a plan, and if you're using this energy right now, write it down. Okay, start a YouTube channel. That's another way. Get accountability from some crazy person like the Fit Philosopher, right? What a freaking name, right? And share videos back and forth. Comment on my stuff. I mean, this is how we make lasting change. For me, it's being in a community and having accountability. That's why I know that this time will be different for me when I'm talking about some of these big changes, because I have a community and I have accountability, people to call me out on my BS. So that's huge. But again, for yourself, use this time to your advantage. If it's natural for you, like it is for me, then it'll be easier for you to make those changes. Do a lot of writing, get outside yourself, share with other people, start a channel, do something crazy, do something different, do something that's going to motivate you to stay with it. But use this October theory to your advantage. Use everything to your advantage, but definitely use this to your advantage. If you're feeling that urge, like you want to shed some leaves, get out there and try it. And let me know about it. What are you changing in your life? Send me a comment, all right? I'd love to hear from people. My community, it's seemingly growing. It's kind of wild to see, but I never thought that would actually happen. Well, I did. If I put my heart and soul into things, I think I expect good results. But looking back on it, I often have insecurities and confidence issues when it comes to certain things. So I'm looking at stuff going, wow, people are actually watching videos, people are actually subscribing to my stuff, even though I say all this wild shit and I have this crazy name, Fit Philosopher. So who knows what'll happen? Maybe it'll be a source of entertainment for yourself, of creative expression for yourself, like me. This is what I use it for, and you'll get more out of it than just changing your life. All right, you'll help other people change their lives as well, which is so super rewarding when you can do something for yourself, get a benefit, and then off of that benefit for yourself, you give other people benefits. It's just a win-win all the way around. So that's what we're talking about today, October theory. Hope you got something out of that. And again, shoot me a comment and let me know how you're changing this fall season. Thanks.